Time to talk about some of my favorite designer fragrances at the moment. Hello everyone, I'm Jolima. I always loved fragrances and this is my channel Scented Moments where we discuss everything about fragrances since 2018. So in this video I want to talk about 10 of my favorite designer fragrances at the moment, and I will divide this list into two categories. The first category is about classic designer fragrances that were released during the last century, and the other 5 fragrances are more modern fragrances released during this century. Now, these fragrances are not part of any exclusive designer line. These are part of the mainstream collection of each designer brand. These are all readily available and none of these is discontinued. So you can easily find these fragrances in your local perfume store or online discounters or the official website of the respective brand. And also I'll not mention them in a specific order. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's talk about classic fragrances, and the first one from the house of Chanel, number 5, and this is the Eau de Parfum, which I absolutely love. The Eau de Parfum of number 5 was released in 1986 by not Olivier Polge, his father Jacques Polge, and this was originally created by Hermès Eau in 1921. So Chanel number 5 came in a eau de toilette, cologne, and parfum. The parfum is my favorite iteration of number 5, but I have yet to add a bottle of the parfum version of number 5. It's so rich and thick and dense and so enveloping, so elegant, but so is the eau de parfum. The Eau de Parfum is all about aldehydes, of course, with some vanilla, some sandalwood, rose, ylang ylang. Has some citruses on top that give sparkliness on top, but then it's a very creamy, aldehydic, sparkly, floral, creamy fragrance that I just adore. This is unisex in my opinion, although it's marketed for women, but all fragrances are unisex. And quite honestly, aldehydes are back in fashion because we have a few big releases from both designer and niche brands that have quite a big dose of aldehydes. Comes to mind Acne Studios by Frederic Malle. It's aldehydic bomb, but it's too synthetic, too loud, smells like a cleaning laundry product. And then you have Patchouli Paris by Guerlain from the La Clamatier collection, which I have yet to try. So it's all about aldehydes and patchouli. So there's that. So it seems like aldehydes are returning, and so I think this is really more in fashion than ever before, which is great news. And I highly advise you to check this one out. Absolutely love Chanel number 5 Eau de Parfum, very elegant. Check this one out if you have yet to. The next fragrance from the house of Guerlain, and actually Guerlain, it's featured a couple of times here in this video, 3 times to be exact. So the first fragrance here is Shalimar, and this is the Eau de Parfum, also released in 1986. Now Shalimar Eau de Parfum, it's my favorite iteration of the Shalimar DNA, but quite honestly, both the Eau de Toilette and the Extrait are worth having. Masterpiece. This fragrance DNA is a masterpiece, and it's a classic for a reason. It's really an iconic perfume. This was the first ever Oriental fragrance ever released, and since then you have tons of fragrances inspired by this scent DNA. And so Shalimar is all about, it has some orange peel on top, definitely like some citruses on top of it, spicy, but then it goes into a rosy, animalic, vanilla fragrance, and a bit ambery as well. The Eau de Toilette is a bit more citrusy and not as heavy as the Eau de Parfum, of course. It's a bit more versatile. And then you have the Extrait, which is maybe the epitome of perfumery, of French perfumery. I mean, it's simply to die for. Which unfortunately I have yet to add also a bottle of, but I'm very happy with Eau de Parfum. Currently my favorite concentration of Shalimar, and you have countless of flankers of Shalimar nowadays, and including now the Millésime. I think they have now the Jasmine, which was released this year, but last year it was Iris. Then you had Tonka before. The first one was the Millésime Vanilla Planifolia, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't tried any of those fragrances, so I don't know how they smell like, if they are good or not. I mean, the distribution isn't great. It's not readily available. So yes, I'm just sticking with Eau de Parfum. In the future, I will add Eau de Toilette and the Extrait, hopefully. But yeah, this is a fragrance that everyone should try at least once, and absolutely love it. Also one of my favorite vanilla fragrances. The next fragrance from the house of Hermès, it's Eau d'Hermès. Created by Edmund Hrudnicka and released in 1951, and I believe that this is still relevant to this day as well. This is so elegant, so sophisticated, and definitely kind of leans a bit more masculine, and I would say that this is challenging. It's a bit daring because of the cloves and the cumin in here that gives like a musky, sweaty feel into it, borderline like an animalic quality with leather, and you have like a burst of I would say also a bit of cardamom and citruses, very sparkly and effervescent in the opening because of the citruses, but then quickly you immediately detect the spices, and it's beautiful with the leather in the base. I mean, it's simply beautiful. Absolutely love this one. This serves as the inspiration later on for Cartier Déclaration, created by Jean-Claude Guerlain, which was a disciple of Edmund Hrudnicka. And then you have also within the Hermès brand, but from the Hermès Essence collection, you have Épice Marine, also created by Jean-Claude Guerlain when he was in-house parfumeur at Hermès. And Épice Marine is basically like an aquatic take on Cartier Déclaration and of course Eau d'Hermès, which is lovely. Actually, I don't have it, but it's still a very lovely fragrance. But yes, Eau d'Hermès, absolutely love this one. Highly advise for you to check this one out. It's a really mature, gentlemanly, sophisticated fragrance. The performance actually is quite good, at least on my skin. Easily 6 hours. And this is an eau de toilette concentration, and it has character. Absolutely love this one. It's Eau d'Hermès by Hermès. The next fragrance, back again from Guerlain, and this fragrance was released originally in 1919, and it is, I mean, the masterpiece, the Queen of Chypres, Mitsouko. And this concentration specifically is Eau de Parfum. Now, I'm not sure if Eau de Parfum was also released in 1919 or later on. Let me know in the comments down below. But Mitsouko, it's really like the reference in terms of Chypres, and I absolutely love the Eau de Parfum. I also do like the Eau de Toilette. It's more versatile and more signature scent, while this one it's more special, and you kind of need to be in the mood to wear this fragrance. But this fragrance is really a classic for a reason also. And this is all about peach. You have some citruses, but it's more about the peach, the florals like the rose, the ylang ylang, and of course vetiver and moss. I love this one. It's not my favorite Chypre. My favorite Chypre being Amouage Jubilation 25 for a Woman in the Extrait version, but this is my second favorite, or my third even, because I also love Chypre Palatin by Dissey Parfum. I mean, I love Chypre in general, and although this is not my favorite, but this is the reference in terms of Chypre fragrances. Now you also have Roger Dov's Diaghilev, which is super expensive, but it's heavily inspired by Mitsouko by Guerlain. You also have the Extrait. I don't know if the Extrait is still available or not. Never tried it. I would love to try it one day. But I do know that the Eau de Toilette is still available and it smells amazing. But yes, if you are searching for a Chypre fragrance, I mean, just go with the reference in terms of Chypres. And even if you want to dive into Chypres, I think this is where you should start. Because from this one, then you had countless of Chypre fragrances, but this is where everything started. It's Mitsouko by Guerlain. And the last classic fragrance, designer fragrance that I have here. It was released in 1993 or 1994, so in the 90s, and I love this one. This is such a fantastic, fresh, citrusy fragrance created by Jacques Cavalier, which is now the parfumeur for Louis Vuitton fragrances. And this one is by Issey Miyake, L'Odyssée pour Homme, the original, the eau de toilette. You have countless of flankers of this fragrance, but this is my favorite. And I mean, I lost track on how many flankers this fragrance has, and I mean, it's just like, okay, I'll just stick with the original. And it's so good, so effortless, so versatile, signature scent worthy. It's all about yuzu, has a nice dose of yuzu in here, so citrusy, has this lemony feel, very effervescent and uplifting, with some aquatic nuances in here, and it's to die for. Absolutely love this one. You can wear this one literally everywhere, and it's to be honest, although this is already a classic, but it's still relevant to this day. In terms of fresh citrusy fragrances, this really stood the test of time, in my opinion. The performance, it's okay. I mean, it's within the 5 to 6 hour mark, but in the end, this fragrance, it's beautiful for the warmer days of spring and summer. Highly advised for you to check this one out. And you have so many, I mean, generic, boring, fresh fragrances. I highly advise to check this one. At least it has character, and it's still relevant, it's still modern to this day, and it's still unique because of the note of yuzu used in here, where you don't see that note used very often, especially in the designer world. So yes, highly advise to check this one out. L'Odyssée pour Homme in Eau de Toilette by Issey Miyake. Now the next 5 fragrances are modern designer fragrances, and starting off with the masterpiece from the house of Christian Dior, Dior Homme. The original, of course. Now this is a black stem. This was released, or better saying, this is a reformulation created by François Demachy in 2011, when Demachy became the in-house parfumeur at Dior. But this was originally released in 2005, created by Olivier Pauge, which is currently the in-house parfumeur at Chanel. And so this one I never tried actually, and the original Dior Homme comes in a silver stem, and I never tried that version. And from what I hear people saying and what I read in the reviews is that it has its differences with the 2011 version, but I absolutely love this one. As you can see by the level of the liquid inside, I mean, it's more than half full, empty. And this fragrance is the reference in terms of iris for me. It's where it all started. My love for iris started with Dior Homme. This is all about this sweet makeup-y powdery iris with musk and some suede and cedarwood. It's so good. I'm always saying this, if I would have one signature scent or just to use one fragrance for life, I would be happy with this one, with Dior Homme, the original, not the 2020 version. Now I see that Dior Homme, the original, this version, it's kind of hard to find. You don't find this fragrance like in store. It's almost, and it's very rare also to see this one in duty-free stores. At least here in Europe, it's really hard to find. This is mostly available in the official website of Dior, but it's still available. So at least we have that. I mean, nowadays you have Dior Homme original, literally original written here. But this is a version to go to. It's a masterpiece, one of the best fragrances ever created in this century. The next fragrance, this is from the house of Viktor and Rolf, released in 2015, and it is Spicebomb Extreme. My favorite version of Spicebomb. I actually also like the original, but this is my favorite, and the other flankers I really don't care about, to be honest. And I have yet to try the newest one called Dark Leather, or Leather simply. I'm very curious to try that one, but the Extreme, it's to this day my favorite. It's spicy, of course, like the name implies. So you have this pepper, cinnamon, a bit of cloves in here with tons of vanilla and tobacco. Absolutely love it. And a bit ambery also. You have a bit of a tonka bean in here as well. But this is very warm, very cozy, but still sensual, addicting, kind of mysterious. It has like a smokiness in here as well. This is a bit similar. I mean, it's in the same family, let's say, of Tobacco Vanille, but still different. But it's in that realm of sweet tobacco, spicy fragrances. Absolutely love it. And the performance is fantastic. Really one of the best fragrances of this century, in my opinion. It's Viktor and Rolf Spicebomb Extreme. The next fragrance from the house of Cartier, Pasha de Cartier Parfum. Created by Mathilde Laurent in 2019, this fragrance, Pasha de Cartier Parfum, is so good. It's very balsamic. It has some balsams, like smoky balsamic qualities with amber, a bit of vanilla, and of course a big dose of lavender on top, because the original Pasha de Cartier, it's a fougère, which I think that didn't age well, at least to my nose. It smells a bit dated, but this one is really an improvement and a modernized version of Pasha de Cartier, the Eau de Toilette. It's so good, because this is still, it keeps the fougère part with this heavy dose of lavender, but it has like ambery balsamic qualities, and it's, wow, to die for. And it's also a bit boozy, I would say. Although this doesn't have any boozy accords listed, this really comes across as like a cognac type of fragrance with the ambery aspects, the vanilla, the balsams. It's so good. I absolutely love this one. The performance also, it's fantastic, very underrated in my opinion. A high quality fragrance right here. Next fragrance from the house of Tom Ford, Ombre Leather. Absolutely love this one. One of my favorite leather fragrances. And this is, to me, the best leather from Tom Ford in my opinion, because Tuscan leather currently it's one of those cases that in fact the reformulation kind of ruined the fragrance. Now I don't say this always, and you know me, if you follow this channel for a while, you know that for me the reformulations is a bit of exaggeration, while they still happen, of course, and sometimes they do ruin the fragrance, but that doesn't mean that every reformulation is bad. Basically, that's my point. But in this case, in Tuscan leather, kind of is. I mean, they really kind of ruined the fragrance, and yeah, unfortunately. But fortunately, we have Ombre Leather. This was actually originally released as a part of the private blend. This was originally released in 2016, and hence it was called Ombre Leather 16. And then it was discontinued and brought it back as Ombre Leather, part of the signature collection of Tom Ford. This was created by Sonia Constant, and it's actually similar to Tuscan leather, but maybe more versatile, more elegant, dare I say. This still has like the raspberryness, like the red berry fruitiness of Tuscan leather, maybe not as enhanced as in Tuscan leather, but then you have this indolic quality with jasmine, and you have, of course, this black leather accord that smells like you are inside of a brand new car interior. So it really gives that vibe, and it's so good and very Tom Ford-esque to me. And actually, Tom Ford, they really revolutionized the fragrance industry with their private blend. And Tuscan leather was a fragrance that it was groundbreaking, just like Tobacco Vanille was. Like the original private blend fragrances were absolutely groundbreaking. Wood as well. Although you already had M7 and M7 Oud by Yves Saint Laurent, which was released under the creative direction of Tom Ford. But well, I digress. This just to say that I think this type of leather really revolutionized the industry. There is definitely like a type of leather before and after Tuscan leather, and you have now many leather fragrances inspired by this type of scent DNA, like sweet berry, like black leathery type of perfumes. But I absolutely love this one. It's my favorite in this category. And it has this like bad boy feel into it, if that makes sense. And I absolutely love it. It's not a fragrance to use like every day. It's a more of a special occasion fragrance when you really want to impress, and it's very seductive in my opinion. So yes, it's a fragrance to wear, and I highly advise for you to check this one out. It's Ombre Leather by Tom Ford. And actually Tom Ford now has also the Parfum concentration, which is fine. I mean, I like it, not as much as Ombre Leather. And now they have the new Eau d'Ombre Leather, which has nothing to do with Ombre Leather DNA. Completely different. That should be like a standalone new release from Tom Ford, because it not only it's not at all similar to Ombre Leather, it's also a clone. Maybe a clone, it's too harsh to say, but it's definitely heavily inspired by Rosé Numatu 5, which I absolutely love. But it's exactly Rosé Numatu 5 to my nose. Well, it is what it is. It was very, very disappointing. But well, this is my favorite. Go with this one. But I also suggested to try the Parfum. You may resonate more with the Parfum concentration. And last but by no means least, from the house of Guerlain, it is L'Homme Ideal Parfum. Released this year by Delphine Jelk. L'Homme Ideal Parfum, I mean, I've been loving this one. I've been wearing this one. Actually, my favorite was Habit Rouge. And I still love it. Of course, I had the Habit Rouge Parfum, which was also released this year. I mean, I have a dedicated video talking about the new Parfum versions of Guerlain, of L'Homme Ideal, Habit Rouge, and Vetiver. So I'll leave the link in the description box down below. But this one, I've been wearing this one more because it kind of fits more the fall. Feels like more fall type of fragrance, if that makes sense. And I also love the scent DNA. This is really a more intense version of the Eau de Parfum concentration, which I have and absolutely love. I also have the Extreme version and have the Cologne, which is now discontinued. I mean, it was my favorite actually from this line. So this one is a bit boozy, more boozy with this amaretto accord. So it's more boozy, but you still have this cherry impression in here, which you also smell in the Eau de Parfum concentration. And you have the suede, you have the vanilla, a bit of a tonka bean. I would say that because now Tonka Imperial is discontinued, unfortunately. If you love Tonka Imperial or you love tonka bean fragrances, I think this is a great alternative to that. If you don't want, of course, to break the bank and buy Tonka Serapia, which is part of the new Extrait line of Guerlain, which is incredibly overpriced. So I highly advise you to check this one out if you love more tonka bean forward fragrances, and if you have a sweet tooth in general. This one is a fantastic fragrance, very addicting, very sensual, great performance actually. After all this, it's a parfum, but that doesn't mean anything. But on my skin, it really lasts a long time. I really head over heels with this one. Very addicting perfume, L'Homme Ideal Parfum by Guerlain. Finishing this video, guys, let me know in the comments down below what are some of your most favorite designer fragrances, both classic and modern. And if you find value in this video, hit the like button, subscribe, check out all the other fragrance content that I have available if you have yet to, and see you in the next video. Take care, guys.